everybody, and welcome to Drink Talk Rock. I am your ginger-headed snaggletooth host, Johnny B. If this is your first time watching a Drink Talk Rock video, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here and for watching all this. Welcome. If by the end of the video, if you like what you see, go down to the bottom and leave us a like, leave us a comment, anything you can think of about what we're going to talk about or what has been talked about. We've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame going on tonight. And I finally got a chance to watch Mötley Crüe's new biopic called The Dirt. And so spoiler alert, halfway through this we're going to answer some inconsistencies about that movie a little bit. I love the movie, I just want to get that out there. Absolutely loved it. But we're going to talk about some things in the movie that were true and some things that maybe they didn't get quite right. Maybe were added in for thematic elements and things like that. It is Drink Talk Rock, and as usual, we got to pour one for everybody. I'm never going to learn how to pour one. But my wife suggested to me that I tilt the glass. I think as long as there's liquid in it, it's fine. So tonight is the 34th annual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of the most legendary awards that an artist can receive. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has had controversy pretty much since its existence. It is typical for the people that get inducted in there. It is typical for there to be popularity contests that possibly the most pop rock bands might get in there. Again, these are theories. I don't have any conspiracies for you today. I just have some examples of some people who have got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and some people who haven't. We're definitely going to announce the inductees for this year, so I'm going to get to that first. I ordered it from people I did not know to people I did. So the first two I did not know. The Zombies are one of them, and Roxy Music is another one. If you guys know those, list me some tracks down below so I can check them out. If you got a track that you prefer by them, go ahead and leave that down below, and I will look it up. Radiohead is going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which honestly, I feel like now I'm getting old because I didn't even know that they were around for 25 years in order to get this. So obviously me and Radiohead are getting up there. Another one that I was really tickled about, Stevie Nicks. You know she deserved it. She is a queen of rock and roll, and she's a legend, and it's good to see that somebody who deserves it is getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm super psyched. Cure is getting in. There is a lot of Brits on this, which is typically not the case. And Janet Jackson is being inducted into the 2019 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And damn it, she deserves it. She's been rocking out, or popping out, or whatever the term may be, for 30, 35 years, something like that, going close to that. So I'm super psyched to see, again, that there's people on this list that absolutely deserve it. The granddaddy of them all, the one that I'm happy about, the one that my wife's happy about, and I guarantee you're going to be happy about, Def Leppard is being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it has been too long of a wait for them. If you guys got a beer in your hand, lift it up in the air for Def Leppard. They earned it. They have been eligible to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame since 2005, and yet 14 years later, they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve. So we'll drink to that. If you've been living under a rock for 20, 30 years, Def Leppard are famous for their albums Hysteria and Pyromania. A few hit songs you probably know: Photograph, Rock of Ages, Armageddon It, Hysteria, Bringing on the Heartache. There is a stigma that rockers don't exactly get the respect that they deserve when it comes to it, specifically when it comes to heavy metal bands. I'll list a few of these and you'll go, well, I kind of know what you're talking about there. So Jethro Tull is at the top of my list, okay? And there's been controversy over Jethro Tull for a long time. But I'm not even sure if Jethro Tull was nominated. But I thought it was interesting that Jethro Tull, one of my favorite bands, the only rock band in the world that can make a flute rock that I know of personally, Judas Priest. That one's ridiculous to me. Listen to the guy sing. Just listen to him sing. Listen to the instrumentation that goes on and say they don't deserve it. They've been around a long, long time and they're still not in there. Motorhead, even with Lemmy's passing, has still not been inducted. Ozzy Osbourne as a solo artist, as much as he's done, has not been inducted into the Hall of Fame either. Black Sabbath has, with Ozzy as the lead singer. Pantera, Megadeth, Stone Temple Pilots. You would just assume they're already in there. I did assume that most of these were already in there. And the one that really pained me, Mötley Crüe is not in it. I think they deserve it. I think they've had a crazy enough life and they've been through enough shit that Mötley Crüe definitely deserves a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Iron Maiden is not in, and they have some of the most genius guitar instrumentals I've ever heard in my life. Not to mention an amazing frontman. Iron Maiden thinks it's bullshit. It probably is bullshit, but if you want to catch it, we're gonna get it to HBO in the mid-spring. So if you guys want to watch that, it's gonna be they're gonna edit it and chop it up and make all the performances sound good. That's pretty much all I've got to talk about as far as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Let's get to this. Spoiler alert. I'll say it 3 times, Penis. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Add a 4th. Spoiler alert. Okay. I watched the biopic for Mötley Crüe, The Dirt, and I have to say that I was absolutely impressed. This is an exceptional film. Interesting thing about The Dirt is that a lot of the stuff that happened in it, they got a lot of true stories in, and they got them in pretty accurately. But that's not what I'm talking about today. We're gonna try to give these spoilers in the least spoilery way that I possibly can. First of all, if you haven't seen it, The Dirt follows guitarist Mick Mars, drummer Tommy Lee, guitarist Nikki Sixx, and frontman Vince Neil in their escapades of self-sabotage as well as their reign supreme in the rock world. And I think that they had significant humps in both areas. But it did well to illustrate the specifics the band went through. So take a drink more beer. You know what? I'll down this for you, buddy. Anyways, back on topic. So, there were a lot of things that the movie got right. There were also a lot of things that were inconsistent. One issue that I had with the movie is that the original lead singer was completely left out of it. There was a guy, Odin Peterson, and I can't seem to find any playing of him live. I don't know why. I don't know if they made something and then they didn't release it out, or if I just haven't looked deep enough into the deep dark web. And thought that they would maybe capture the origin a little bit closer. They kind of skipped around. I think that was the biggest thing in the movie. Nick Mars thought he was a hippie. I guess he got a bad attitude with Nikki Sixx, and there were issues or whatever, and he got kicked out of the band. The second thing that I found that they got wrong, Tom Zutaut. In the movie, it seems like Tom basically walks up to the band. They're signed. They're interested. You know, they look a little reluctant for like a second. And then they're just like, okay, we're on board. The real story is that it was not that easy, and then that he actually kind of freaked him out a lot. When he presented the idea to the band to come to Elektra Records, the band didn't really trust him. So what happened was Tom bought him a bunch of free meals and kind of kissed their ass for a long time until he finally talked him into signing on with Elektra Records. And speaking of Mötley Crüe's management team, Doc McGhee, their manager, like I said, if you watch the movie, Doc McGhee he wasn't fired in the way in the movie. He's depicted as being fired because of something with Nikki Sixx's mother, and that's all I'm going to say about that for people that don't want it to be too spoiled. There was this thing called the Moscow Peace Festival. A bunch of bands headlined. Ozzy Osbourne was there. Skid Row. Jason Bonham was a special guest, but Bon Jovi was supposed to close the show out. Or I think Bon Jovi with John Bonham. It was something like that. Mötley Crüe wanted to bring their pyro, and they wanted to bring their effects, and they wanted to do the real big show, and Doc McGhee told them that they had toned it down and that they weren't going to do it that way. Well, it turns out when Bon Jovi shows up, they show up with their pyro and their, effects and everything that they had for a stadium show, and apparently, they kind of got to slip through the cracks on that. Well, Mötley Crüe, not only did Mötley Crüe not get to do their pyro and their big performance and all that stuff, were actually the openers. So Doc McGhee got fired, and that's kind of the way that it went. It didn't have anything to do with Nikki Sixx's mom. I'm not sure where they got that. So these last 2 things I'm going to give you are the things that bothered me most about the movie. The movie barely references Pamela Anderson, and if you know anything about Mötley Crüe, you know that the drummer Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson were married for about 3 years, okay? And the movie at some point skips from 1995 and 2005. They basically skipped it. There's a slight reference to Pamela Anderson in it, but overall she's not even mentioned. There's a lot of serious stuff that was going on with that. Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson were fighting all the time. Tommy actually served 6 months in a county jail for kicking her. But I did find it weird that the movie didn't want to include any of that. It's almost as if they were glorifying the band more than they were showing the problems of the band. But shoving a lot of stuff into a short movie. My number 5 and biggest issue with this movie, for multiple reasons, is that at one point in Mötley Crüe's career, John Corabi replaced Vince Neil. When Vince Neil quit the band, John Corabi did an entire album, and I think an album and a half with Mötley Crüe. He was a Mötley Crüe member. They made a whole album together, okay? And in the movie, they show him. He walks out, but he doesn't say a single word, and he doesn't sing a single note. Take a rant break for a second for a drink. If you got a beer in your hand, again, put it up, put it up. But John Corabi had a pretty extensive thing with the band, and I just figured they would have detailed that a little bit more. Again, that could have been just for trying to center around the band and glorify the band, and I understand that. Here's the part that actually made me upset. The actor they chose to play him is a guy named Anthony Vincent, okay? Anthony Vincent does 10-second songs. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he'll do like Metallica in 25 versions, and he'll do like a Frank Sinatra version, and he'll do like a Nirvana version, and he'll keep it rolling. My point is, he's a metalhead, and he can sing. He is an impressionist. He has his own band and his own sound, but he's an impressionist that can mimic any singer in the world. All of them. Every fucking singer this guy can mimic. And yet you hire him for a movie where he's playing John Corabi, and you don't fucking let him sing! I have to ooh. You can get the facts wrong on stuff, okay? Like, the book itself had facts that weren't wrong. But for fuck's sake, people, you have a metal singer playing John Corabi! What? You don't let him sing? You don't let him talk? He doesn't have any part in this fucking movie besides knowing that he's got the same curly long hair. Apparently, I'm so irate right now. My cat's irate. She's found a bottle cap. Anyways, great movie. Please check it out. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a great flick. It really is. It's a biopic of their history, and I think it does it pretty accurately. Besides this fucking John Corabi part. Got a couple questions for you. They call this in YouTube a call to action. I ask you a couple questions. I want you to either answer them below, or I want you to come back later and answer them when you've thought about it and had a timeout. Here's a question. What's your favorite biopic? What is a movie about a band or about a singer that you've seen that is your absolute favorite? I want to know. Put it down below. Or if you don't watch a ton of biopics, or maybe you're just missing that biopic from that artist that you love so much, which artist do you think should have a biopic? Who's the next person? Who's the guy or gal that you think has had a life story worthy of being in a flick? They've done Freddie Mercury. They've got one coming out about Elton John. My second question that I have for you guys is, band is your favorite band that's not in the Hall of Fame that you think should be in the Hall of Fame? One of mine, I'll give you one of mine. I think Alter Bridge. I think Alter Bridge should have it. Do I think Alter Bridge ever will have it? No. Alter Bridge will never be in the Hall of Fame. And hey, maybe you'll look back on this video and go, hey, that guy was stupid. But in all reality, Mark Tremonti and Miles Kennedy are in their 40s. They've been making music since 2004. They may get in, but they might be 60 or 70. I'd love to see a biopic after they get in the Hall of Fame. And then that's the way it ends. End of the movie, Hall of Fame. Fucking roll credits. We've talked about the Hall of Fame. We've talked about The Dirt by Mötley Crüe. I highly recommend that you check that movie out. If this is the first time you're checking out one of our videos, I want to say thank you for checking it out. It tickles me to death that you guys tune in to watch some guy talk about music. I want people to come into the rock and roll conversation again. I want rock and roll to be at the forefront of music again. And I won't stop until that happens. Alright? That's me talking to you. Before I go, I want to remind you guys, because I put it on the end of every video, we're doing a free keychain giveaway. I don't care about shipping. I'll pay it. You can have one. Go to YouTube. Go to the Drink Talk Rock YouTube page. Like any of my videos. Leave a comment that says Drink Talk Rock rules. Or at this point, just leave any comment at all, and I will put a heart on it. Once you got a heart on your comment, you will be qualified as one of the 25 people that are receiving a DTR Drink Talk Rock keychain / bottle opener. It'll have some letters on it, maybe a little print of a beer mug, something from me to let you guys know that I really, really appreciate you guys watching this show. When I started this, I never imagined that people would actually tune in and watch it. I always hoped they would, but I never really knew. And join me next Friday as I'm going to have my first guest, a longtime friend of mine and a great musician. He's going to play a couple tracks for us. We're going to do some drinking games. My buddy Shaggy Gentry is going to be on the show next Friday, 7:30 p.m. Like I said, we're going to have some drinks. We're going to have some fun. Heard he's got some original stuff he's working on, and I'm going to try to get him to play that. But thank you guys so much for watching Drink Talk Rock. I've been your host, Johnny B. You guys are beautiful. Always drink responsibly. With that, I will end on a chug. Thank you guys. Drink Talk Rock.